All right, here we go. Today we're going to talk about this machine right here. This is the classic, and yep, I made one. Of course, we know there's disappointment with this, but this was my Game of Thrones machine I used to get out and really watch Game of Thrones, so I made a dragon's egg top. Look at that baby. Yeah, that's epic. Wiley Cafe makes these little adapters. You can almost use them for anything, but yeah, I made the dragon eggs top. I like the machine because it had that look of steel, like an old sword or a, armor or something like that. It's a pretty cool little machine. Works good. Has that weathered look. And I had the dragon's egg on top. Let's put it back on just for fun. And I envisioned always rewatching it, right? You can watch the whole thing again. You have your thing. You got your dragon's egg going. And I'd make espressos with that, and yeah, I even got this for it, just to be that way. Yeah, trebuchet, right? So I'd get this thing going. It's a little model, right? La Pavone, Leonardo da Vinci's model, so that kind of fits in. And then while you watched Game of Thrones, and it was fun, you could make espressos, you had your dragon's egg, and you could also, on occasion, right, send off a little volley like this. And you would just, right, just fire off a few things during the battles. It was just epic fun and all that, so the trebuchet was really cool. But of course they ruined it. We know they did. Yeah, we know they ruined it. The ending ruined all those series, all the great things, and you know how it is. I look getting the weird creatures and everyone kind of winning in the end, and Littlefinger, that swarmy guy, finally got it and got hacked off because he was such a little weaselly guy. But anyway, it was all good till the end, and yep, I don't even want to know who it is, but somebody let him go ahead, and they took the dragon and burned up the city, and picked the only bad ending you could have. You could have done anything else, but so they ruined the machine for me, and I envisioned keeping this so that we could rewatch it, but now you're just going to know it has a horrible ending, and they totally blew it. It's not going to be redeeming in the end, but anyhow. You can tell it was someone's cousin or nephew or niece got to do that, because oh yeah, let's burn up the city. Probably some 12-year-old who knows what they listen to. But anyway, I really always still like it. I'll keep it around. I'm almost thinking of switching to just like a dragon motif, maybe a Viking dragon motif, and just. But then I have to really let the memory of ruining that whole series go, because yeah, you could have rewatched the whole thing. It would have been cultish and. But now no one talks about it because they blew it. They did. We can lie and pretend, but they blew it. They burned up the super cool city. And that was a big, it just kind of ruined things. But anyway, I like this machine. And I make a lot of tops. We're going to get out some other ones in the next show when I do a couple other things. But I got to think of what we want to do with this machine now. The dragon thing kind of got blown. And and that's one of the cats, Myrna. We have to put that blanket on that couch so that she can sleep on it so she doesn't destroy it. We don't let her up on anything else though, and she's pretty smart and does it, but she knows when that cover's on that couch she can sprawl out and lay there and probably wait for some treats or who knows what, right? And all that stuff, but that's all pretty cool. It's just so it's a Leonardo da Vinci little model, just a little basic model. You put some stones. It's pretty neat, little trebuchet, and it was perfect for that show. But that's it. And they totally blew that one for me. So the idea is what I'm going to do with this next. I got to think of something. I have a couple machines. I don't know. I wasn't going to touch it much because it really doesn't have a lot of rust. It's kind of tarnishy and stuff, but that's what makes it kind of neat. And it looked like an old sword, kind of an armor, and I thought, that was going to be good. But anyway, they kind of blew that. So we're going to think of something to do with that machine and make it pretty cool. And that's right. Yeah, I had a trebuchet, and the Game of Thrones was going to be good, but yeah, they burned us on that one big time. They really did. What a bummer. But anyway, I made a machine for that. Kind of like the Doctor Who, because I like that show, but they didn't ruin that. So I pop that one out every now and then. And anyway, so we're going to have the parts come for the other machine, and we're going to do some work on that. And I'm just deciding which machine I want to do over. This one. But I might leave it. But then I have Old Goldie, which I just did all the gaskets on, but the base is pretty bad. You know, it's painted, but it's coming off. But that has a cap style, so I'm thinking we'll do a little cap style run on that one, just so we can take that cap off together. It may be easy, it could be hard, but we have the stuff and the tools. And I've done a couple. I've made some mistakes doing a couple too, but I've done a couple and they came out good. So that's what we're going to do in the next couple shows. We might even start doing 2 shows a week or whatever. It's all just for fun. No worries. Do your little subscribe, because we're going to give away some really good coffee. And yeah, even today I got some really, really badass coffee. And it's going to be really good. We're going to make some of that. And that's about all for this week. So we got the projects. Old Goldie, we'll decide whether we want to do this one. And you know, it's all pretty cool. But look what I got. The farmers called me. I had to meet him in the parking lot. It was pretty neat. They called me from the farm today. This is used to be our doctor. He retired, but his wife had this Kona coffee farm for years and years and years. And you know, they call us whenever they have beans. A lot of people think these beans are too dark, but they're not. They're medium dark, and that's the way pure Kona is. And this is right from the farmers. Really fun. You put in the Ziploc, you get a little better deal because you get your local combine a discount from them. And actually, not too much leaves the island. Most of the people on the call list that here are big time on Kona Coffee, they get this coffee. You won't see it go off too much. It's really limited, but yeah, it's really good coffee. They put it in the Ziploc. I got to switch it out because that way they don't have to bag it up in the expensive little retail bags. But yeah, I went down, met them. They drove their Harley down to the parking lot and at the shopping center, and you met them and bought your coffee. That's because they live way up in Captain Cook, so I didn't want to drive all the way out there, so it's pretty good. And it's grown in Honau now, which is pretty cool, down South Kona. I used to live in Honau now many years ago, so that's what I got going. You might even get some of this coffee, but this ain't, you know, this isn't for any babies. This is a really dark roast, full-bodied, rich coffee. It's not for everyone because Kona coffee is pretty strong, the real thing. And when I first moved here, I didn't have Kona for a while, and then I got my first cup down at Maggie's. It wasn't really called Maggie's. It was a Coffee Farm's little coffee shop down in Uncle Billy, the Pirate's little shopping center. But she had this like closet that she worked out of for him. But everyone knew it as Maggie's because without her, it wouldn't have been there. And she made the Kona coffees in there, and she made her specialty, which was a big thing of drip coffee, Kona coffee, with 2 big espresso shots in it called the depth charge. And that's what she made for all of us when I first got here. And I could barely drink those. It was really strong. I hadn't had that much like fancy coffee. We were still Folgering. And after 2 or 3, you start to like it and you go, wow, this is good coffee. But then you can't go back either, because if you go back to like a Starbucks, you go, wow, this is water. And so once you've gone up and you really develop that Kona coffee thing, yeah, you got to kind of stick with it. Or you're going to want rich coffees. And, you know, sometimes when we're traveling, we have a different coffee and they're all right. But usually they're just, you know, we need like a 4 or 5 shotter to kind of match the full bodiness we like with a dark, medium dark Kona. That's what we usually have. And so that's what's going on. And that's just what you got to have. Maggie was a really good. She opened her own coffee shop, and she sold it years ago. It's still up in Honolulu. One day we'll drive by there. I haven't really been in there. We don't go out to too many coffee shops because I have La Poloni's, and we can make some pretty nice coffees at home, and it's nice out here on the deck. So we're out here getting ready for the weekend, and yeah, we'll figure out. I kind of like the machine. So we'll figure out what to do. Maybe we'll, I don't know. I don't think I'll get over the Game of Thrones, but they may have run it. But anyway, that's what's going on. we'll see on the next show, and we're going to have all kinds of fun stuff there too. We'll see if we're going to pop that cap off. I think we should, because we'd all like to see it. And I haven't done one in a while, and I made a little video of it, but maybe we'll do a live one. And we'll just pop that end off in case you guys ever have to, and see what it takes. Sometimes they're easy, sometimes hard. Anyway, I've heard it all, but that's what we'll do next show.